Hello there, and welcome to JJ video, I suppose, today, because there's no paint table, as you can see. I'm not holding any brushes. Oh, and this is going to be a bit of a different one today, as you can probably tell by the title of the video. We are going to be discussing the Horus Heresy. And this is my girlfriend, Michaela.
Hello.
Who is a YouTuber as well, with a pretty nice channel, actually. Go over there. There'll be a link to it below, so make sure you check that out, all of you.
Can I just give a caveat? It's about musical theatre, so do not feel obliged to go over if you're into that sort of thing. But I would appreciate it if you did.
Do, because we managed to get some musical theatre people from her channel to watch this video as well and other videos. So, you know, we can have a nice little a cross-cultural, not quite cross-cultural, but you know what I mean. It's a thing. It's cool. It's fun. So this is a collaboration between my channel and hers. She recently told me about a musical called Chess.
It's a game on a table.
Yep.
It kind of is in the same world, I guess. And now he's going to explain this Horus thing to me.
I am indeed. But anyway, so Michaela, how much do you know about the Horus Heresy?
Is he a soldier of some sort?
In a manner of speaking, yes.
And then is this the Warhammer like the Space Marine Warhammer, or is this like the Elves Warhammer? This is Space Marine
yes,
Elves. Okay.
Yes, this is Warhammer 30k because it came Space Marines 10,000 years before the current game, basically. Anyway, right, the Horus Heresy.
So wait, is this in the same universe that we're currently in?
Yes, place in the 31st millennium BCE. So
it's in the future. I thought you were saying it was in the past.
No, no. This is all in the far, far future.
Oh, okay.
The very far future. Humanity conquers the stars to begin with. Spreads out, massive empire, and it's all going brilliant. And then it utterly collapses completely. And then we go into this thing called the Age of Strife, where humanity is reduced almost back to the level of barbarian tribes living on Earth and throughout the scattered planets.
But how are they barbarians if they're in space? It's like barbarians in space!
Yes, they are. There's this massive thing called a warp storm has happened, which is one of the reasons why the Empire collapses, because they don't travel at the speed of light. They literally go into a second dimension to travel across space. And
is this like a physical dimension? Kind
of, yeah. So think of it this way. So you know how like we're in our...
I don't think that has a basis in physics.
And then...
So is that a storm in the dimension?
Yes, in both actually. So a warp storm kind of breaks through the veil of reality and
is it like rain?
Space.
Is it hail?
Imagine...
a tornado?
Imagine a tornado made of demon fire that might set you on fire, might give you the plague, or it might turn you into a gibbering mass of flesh.
So it's like a Deus Ex Machina storm.
Things on Earth looking a bit grim until the Emperor of Mankind rises up to reunite humanity. So the first thing he does is he creates his Thunder Warrior legions and they reunite all of Earth. So he takes over all of Earth. And at this point there have been nuclear wars. There's been a lot of death. Go on.
Why, if they're in space,
they're
probably really far away from Earth.
They are.
So why do they go back?
Because Earth is still considered the home world. His next step after that is to get rid of the Thunder Warriors, because they were just a prototype, and he creates his Space Marine legions, the Space Marines that you've seen me painting.
Oh, so those are the first Space Marines?
Yes, they are indeed.
Okay. And the ones that aren't looking like unicorns, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yes. Her suggestion for Challenge 99 chapter was a unicorn-based army.
It didn't get enough votes. I'm so annoyed.
It didn't get enough to lead them. He creates these things called the Primarchs. Primarchs are effectively demigods. So the Emperor created them from his own DNA because he's basically a powerful psychic being as well as being somewhat human. Some people think he's a god, which we'll get to later. So he creates them and he's growing them in these little vats in a special lab underneath the Himalayan mountains. And then those powers of, then in the warp, there's things there called the powers of chaos. You know, those aforementioned fire tornadoes that might set you on fire or might give you the plague or might turn you into a blob of flesh?
Yes.
Well, they're sentient.
So is it like if the Balrog had sex with the cloud from the Green Lantern film, the bad film, like the weird cloud thing, if those two things had sex and it was like a fiery cloud of bleh, is that what it is? Is that it?
Do you know what? That's not an entirely inaccurate description.
Okay.
So they are sentient, and they see the Emperor making these Primarchs, and they don't like that because he stole the knowledge from them to make it. So they go, "Oi, you, stop that." So
the Fire Demon Baby had Primarchs as well.
No,
is he the CEO of Primarchs? Was he like, I will destroy them all with terrible clothing?
No. All those people.
I will exploit people in developing countries and pay them terrible wages and put them in buildings that collapse.
All that does happen, but we'll get to that later.
Okay.
So the primordial truth, or the chaos gods, or whatever you want to call them. Let's stick with the chaos gods for the time being, because that's what they're called. So the chaos gods see he's making the Primarchs because he stole the knowledge from them to make the Primarchs, and probably a little bit of their DNA as well, speculatively. And they say, we don't like that. So what they do is they take them all up, all 20 of them, and they fling them across the galaxy to land on different planets.
I'm with you.
So just a quick recap. Emperor creates Primarchs.
Yep.
Emperor going to reunify universe.
Yep.
Chaos gods don't like it. Mm-hmm. Chaos gods take baby Primarchs from the Himalayas, cast them into space.
Okay.
Cool. But the Emperor still has his Space Marine legions. And from Earth, he launches this thing called the Great Crusade, which is his big mission to reunify all the scattered bits of humanity spread throughout the galaxy, whilst purging it of aliens and all religion.
What, religion has survived for the past 30,000 years?
Apparently.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, so, moving on from that. So, Great Crusade's in full swing. The Emperor's slowly starting to reunify with his Primarch sons and gives each of them a legion. So, in some cases it goes really well. So you've got Primarchs like Horus, who's the first one he found.
Oh! You read that book!
I did indeed.
I know things!
So, Horus is the first Primarch he finds.
Okay.
And he's the closest of all the Primarchs to the Emperor.
Okay.
So that's why that's one of the reasons why
closest
things go...
as in they know each other really well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Horus was the only Primarch who not Guilliman, we'll get to him later. Horus is the only Primarch the Emperor raised, so to speak. So they're the only two he raised, and then obviously other Primarchs came in. I'll just say some names as we go along. You don't have to...
I'll smile and nod.
Fair enough. So he's the first one, and his legion is the Lunar Wolves. They're the 16th legion, 16 out of 20. Mm-hmm. And then they find the other one, so they find Leman Russ of the Space Wolves, the 6th legion.
The Space Wolves was an option for the
Challenge
Challenge 99. Yeah.
Ferrus Manus of the Iron Hand Legion, the 10th Legion, etc, etc, etc. So some of the Primarchs, when the Emperor finds them, they're really happy to be reunited with him. So again, Horus is happy, Leman Russ is happy, Ferrus Manus is happy, because they all quite like him, they like what he does. Other Primarchs aren't so happy, so there's Angron, who's
angry.
Yep.
Angron the Angry.
And then there's Mortarion, who's another Primarch, who was in a rebellion against his adoptive father, and then the Emperor turns up.
Mortarion is in, like, mort, like death.
Yep. Whose legion
They're not really subtle with these names,
No, they're not.
They're not. Just like...
I mean, do you want to take a while guess what Mortarion's legion is called?
The Death Eaters?
Not far off, actually.
The Death something.
Death Guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
Ugh.
GW, man. You get so many things right, but the names. I
could have done with another workshop, is all I'm saying.
Another games workshop.
Hey!
This build up of resentment and hostility across the legions. Then we get Lorgar, who comes along a bit later, who is, he's one of the Primarchs.
Yeah, I guess that.
Yeah,
Carry
Lorgar's one of the Primarchs, and he has a bit of a problem with the Emperor. He worships him like he's a god. Basically builds up temples and entire planets dedicated to his father, and the Emperor keeps telling him, stop doing that, I need your Space Marine Legion on crusade, fighting and killing.
Wait, so the Emperor doesn't want to be worshipped, he just wants to get the shizzle done.
Basically, equal monarchia, and then what happens is the Emperor kind of has had enough, so he sends Robert Guilliman of the 13th Legion, who's another Primarch. Yeah, I know, there's 20 of them.
There's just so many people.
There are so many people. It has a massive cast.
People who need people.
Blow up their planets.
Are the luckiest people.
Yeah, so Lorgar is doing
That's
the
him.
thing. Yep, so Lorgar builds the city.
Yeah.
Emperor doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Sends in Guilliman. Guilliman burns the city to the ground. Yep.
Wait, are there people there?
Well, they're told to evacuate. Some of them don't. So if
no,
they're...
they can't just burn it when there's people.
Yeah, well, they did.
Oh.
They did. They burned it.
That's a dick move.
And these people worship the Emperor, and he went, nah, mate, you all got to burn now.
Yeah, but surely if they worship the Emperor, if the Emperor went down and be like, guys, leave.
No, he didn't turn up until after the burning was finished.
No.
So then Lorgar is summoned back to the ashes of the planet and is made to kneel.
What? They burned the whole freaking planet?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, they
I thought
burnt
you said it was a city.
They burnt the city.
Yeah.
So Lorgar and the Wordbearers Legion, which is his legion, comes back to the planet. They all land, so they're all there, all 100,000 of them or so. And then the Emperor's there with Guilliman on one side, and he says, Lorgar, you've got to stop this worshipping thing, it's making you look bad. And Lorgar's there going, no, but you're a god, if only you'd acknowledge it. And the Emperor goes, Lorgar, last warning, stop being a dickhead, stop worshipping me as a god, get your crusade on, go conquer some planets.
Hey, we'll get your crusade on and suddenly everything's right.
Yeah, although he makes him kneel as well, with like a massive blast of psychic energy that humiliates Lorgar completely.
Okay.
And then, to add insult to injury, he then turns around to the Emperor turns around to his personal bodyguard and says, yeah, keep an eye on him for the next however many years, and then just pisses off and leaves him kneeling in the dust.
What, as in like so he can't get up?
Oh, he can get up, but he's just left him there with like nothing else, like no private reconciliation, no like chance to get everything off his chest, just stop worshipping me, stop being an idiot.
I mean, this screams just issues later on down the line. He's gonna need a lot of therapy.
He is, but do you know what he does instead?
He kills people?
He goes off and he starts worshipping those chaos gods we mentioned earlier.
Oh! The hybrids, the Balrog Parallax hybrids.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. Getting back to Horus now. So,
Right.
a few years after Monarchia, Great Crusade's going great, to be fair. They've reunited lots of planets, they've managed to rebuild the Imperium of Man, the whole science and reason thing started to take off in some places, and it's good, doing well. So they do this big fight in a place called Ulanor, goes really, really well. So the Emperor holds a massive party, and the Emperor says, by the way guys, I'm leaving the Great Crusade to go back to Earth now. And this is a shock because he's been leading them for this whole time. And he takes his laurels off his head and he puts them on Horus's head and says, you're now the War Master, you're in charge of all of this. Ta-ra.
Did he get a heads up?
Nope.
Was there like no gossip being like, hey, I bet you're a shoe-in for the leading the whole army crusade thing when your dad is like, you know what, I want to retire. Like,
Yeah.
was there none of that? Was there no like political finagling? Just like, oh, your problem, peace.
Basically. So so in the early books,
Wow.
in the early books they very much made out like that, but in the later books the people were hinting going, yeah, the Emperor's going to leave, so everyone's thinking it's going to be you, Horus, me old mate. You might be the one leading.
Oh, so they retconned that in.
Yeah, a little bit.
What, when they realise, hey, we've got so
This is
many
a bit
books
silly,
going on
yeah.
here, it's kind of like, yeah, we might as well put some depth into this story.
Basically.
Okay.
So yeah, then something happens a few years later. They go to a place called Davin, a little moon called Davin, where there's been a bit of a rebellion, and they're putting down a rebellion, and it's going well until, oh no, Horus is stabbed by a magical knife, and he's wounded really badly. Bear in mind he's a Primarch, and they're like 12 feet tall, have 2 hearts, and are damn near unkillable. Like, you could drop a building on this guy and he'd probably be able to survive it. So everyone's a bit worried. A little knife stab, ooh, this is a bit concerning. We should be worried. So, Erebus, new character, who's from Lorgar's Legion, mentioned
And that's
him
definitely
earlier.
some kind of ancient god name. I recognise that.
Erebus.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Erebus.
is. Ancient Greeks.
Cool.
So he's from Lorgar's Legion, the Wordbearers, the ones who used to worship the Emperor, but then don't, and now worship Chaos.
Yep.
So he turns up and says, hey, I know this place called the Lodge on Davin, the Serpent's Lodge. I bet they can heal Horus up good and proper down there.
Oh, it's a setup. Oh no, those worshipping bastards. They're
Yeah.
gonna kill him, aren't they?
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
no, they don't kill him. So they take Horus there, and they put him under, and they give him all sorts of crazy dreams where he thinks...
So there's anaesthetic in this universe, okay.
Yeah, there is anaesthetic, but it's still like demon anaesthetic. So like magic parallax demon anaesthetic. It's all magic parallax demons.
Okay.
All of it. All of it.
So if I go to the hospital and they're like, you need an operation, I'll be like, okay, but only if I can have the demon anaesthetic.
And they'll say, right this way. And then they'll burn you for being a heretic. Anyway, so they put him under, and they let him see all kinds of crazy visions of the future. But interestingly
Like
enough, the
shrooms.
visions they show him are the ones where he does become evil, and as a result is removed from the history books. So they show him the history where he and some of his brothers have been removed. They show him visions of everyone worshipping the Emperor as a god, and he's been forgotten. And Erebus, who's right there in the dream with him, is saying, yeah, this is definitely what's going to happen. If you go and fight for the Emperor, he's definitely going to erase you from history. He's definitely out to get you. And
So it's like Inception.
in a manner of speaking, yeah.
Okay.
And naturally, Horus falls for it. So he comes out of the lodge, he's all healed up and he's all ready to go, and he's not happy with the Emperor anymore.
Is he going to try and kill his dad?
Oh, and how? So, the first thing he has to do, in his legion, the Lunar Wolves, which have now been renamed the Sons of Horus, because he was given that honour. Remember how I mentioned Angron earlier?
Yeah, Angry Angron.
And Mortarion earlier?
Dead Mortarion.
Yep. And then there's also another guy called Fulgrim. You remember Fabius?
Yeah.
That's his legion, his Primarch.
Oh, okay. Oh, so Fabius is just a
Space Marine.
He's just a dude.
And he features quite heavily in these books as well, in the early ones anyway. So the four of them get together and they say, right, Horus says to them, you're my first Primarch allies, we're going to go kill Dad and take the Empire for ourselves. But we've got a bit of a problem. In our legion, we've got guys who are still kind of loyal to the Emperor, so we've got to kill them first. So they
because now he's naturally gonna be rookie mistake.
all those loyalists to the Emperor, they drop them down on a planet called Istvan 3, and
that Istvan number 3.
Yeah, the third planet in the Istvan system. So they drop them all down onto that planet and say, oh, there's a rebellion down there, go sort it out. There is a rebellion, they do sort it out, but whilst they're down there, they drop virus bombs on them and kill them all. Yeah, but
Horus.
Yeah, but some of them escape on a ship called the Eisenstein, and they leg it back to Terra.
We're taking the Marines to Eisenstein, to Eisenstein, to Eisenstein. I'm sorry, I couldn't not do it. I'm really sorry.
One more time, please. Just one more time for the camera.
The Marines, to Eisenstein, to Eisenstein.
We're having a raise up a little bit. We had a moment, but it's okay.
We had a moment, but
oh shit, that's a lot of
alcohol. That is a
lot.
Can you take some of this, please? Because
Okay, yeah.
I'm not.
Salud. So, the Eisenstein runs away, and they get picked up by another Primarch called Rogel Dawn, who, for context, went back with the Emperor when he decided to leave the Crusade to guard the Imperial Palace in his new plan. And they say, okay, Horus has betrayed us, he's killing his own legion boys. Dawn's like, don't believe you, mate. So this woman who happens to be...
Oh, there's women in this?
Yeah, there is.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so there's this...
Do they have lines?
Yeah, she's a black woman as well. And
nice.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I mean, she's like the only black... No, she's not. No, there are other black women in this thing. But she was like... Actually, to be fair to her, she was like the first woman in the series to turn up as well. So, you know, props too. Anyway, so basically she has a projector inside her head, and she decides to show Rogel Dawn...
Excuse me.
the footage of Horus virus bombing his own legion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, so she can see everything that's happened?
Yeah, because she was there. Dawn sees that, and he goes, shit, Horus has betrayed us, so we need to,
Fold him?
we basically need to yeet him out of existence. So, that's the plan. They go back to Terra, they start organising, sending the other legions to Istvan, where Horus still is. So Horus is still at the Istvan system. They moved to Istvan 5 now because they know they're coming. So he's there with Angron, Fulgrim, and Mortarion and their legions, and that's only 4 legions. So the Emperor sends more legions to fight them. So he sends the Iron Hands that I mentioned earlier.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah. The Salamanders.
Oh, they're the green ones.
They are the green ones, yeah. And another legion called the Raven Guard.
They're the black ones?
They are indeed, yeah. For context, it kind of helps that she's seen me literally paint all of these colour schemes over the past couple of years, so she actually kind of knows who all these guys are. Those 3 legions go, but they also go along with the Iron Warriors, the Night Lords, the Alpha Legion, and the Word Bearers. Remember those guys?
No.
The Word Bearers, Lorgar's Legion.
Oh, yes.
Who they all think are on their side. Lorgar's Word Bearers.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're actually with Horus.
Yeah.
But they're and they're like, sure, dude, we'll help you fold Horus, but later on we're gonna betray you.
Basically, yes.
Okay.
So, the first 3, Salamanders, Iron Hands, and Raven Guard, they all land on Istvan 5. Those 3 legions land, and they're doing well, and then they see the other legions coming on, so the Iron Warriors, the Word Bearers, the Night Lords, and the Alpha Legion, and they go, it's great, they've landed. So they start to pull back a little bit, rest, recuperate, let the other 4 legions take over.
And then they go and like, kapow.
Then they go kapow, and they do a massive betrayal, and it's bad. So, Vulcan, who's the head of the Salamanders, the Primarch of the only black Primarch as well, gets captured by the Night Lord's Primarch, Conrad Kurz. Ferrus Manus of the Iron Hands Legion gets killed, gets his head cut clean off.
Oh, that's not very nice.
It's not. First Primarch to die as well.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a big moment in the series. And it happened in book 5. And we're all like book 50 now. So then we get other things. So remember those word bearers from earlier on?
Yep.
They go to the Ultramarines' home world under Robert Gulliman. And they, Gulliman.
Oh, so the different Primarchs have different planets?
Yeah, because Lorgar and his word bearers, they go to a planet called Calth, which belongs to Robert Gulliman, and they proceed to betray the Ultramarines there as well, which leads to that planet having its atmosphere stripped, and lots of Ultramarines getting killed.
How the hell do you strip an atmosphere?
Very simply, you fire all your thermonuclear cannons into the sun, make the sun's rays expand and expand and expand, and it strips away a planet's atmosphere.
I need Neil deGrasse Tyson to fact check that for me, because I call bullshit.
Well, that's what happens. That's their explanation in the book. In their books, go, we shot our guns at the sun, and the sun took away the atmosphere.
Why don't they seize the means of production, Josh?
Because they already own it.
Why don't they?
They literally already own the means of production.
Why are they serving a hierarchical system?
Why? Oh, I'm making my video about communism now.
Yes, I am.
Then that's the one, so the betrayal at Calth between Lorgar and Gulliman, that happens, that's sad. Then there's another one on a planet called Prospero. So that's the planet of another legion called the Thousand Sons, who are basically a psychic legion, but they got told not to use their powers anymore.
Oh, that'd be really cool though.
Yeah, I know, but they were told not to do it anymore by the Emperor. And
the Emperor's a dickhead.
He is, but then they kind of went against him, and so Emperor sent Leman Russ's Space Wolves after them, and the Space Wolves literally yeeted that planet out of existence.
So do the Space Wolves have wolf powers?
Some of them do actually turn into wolves, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And they've got some nice models as well. Anyway, so they then destroy them, which is very sad. Then there's there's a few other legions as well. The Blood Angels are off literally fighting the space demons.
Are the Blood Angels the red ones?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yeah, the Blood Angels under Sanguinus, who is known as the Angelic Primarch, they are off fighting the literal demons from hell on another planet. The Dark Angels are off fighting the Night Lords from that big assault earlier. So everyone's spread out and there's a lot going on. But so as you can see, this is why we end up with 50 books, because there's lots of theatres of war, lots going on, lots of characters. There are assassination attempts from the Emperor on Horus, and likewise from Horus to the Emperor. We see entire secondary attempts to govern the galaxy arise and fall, go on.
On all of these planets, are there like normal people?
Yes.
And are the normal people like just dying?
Yes. By the billions.
That's fucked up.
It is pretty messed up.
Okay. If you're an 8-foot tall space marine and you've got like me, don't kill me, right?
Yeah, but this
because you're an 8-foot tall space marine. That is an unfair advantage. You should want to be the Switzerland of space.
Then both sides will try and kill you.
Space Switzerland should be allowed to exist.
No, those guys all get killed.
No!
Okay, so...
These people in these books are making me angry.
Actually.
Yeah, they are!
So Horus is, split the Imperium, massive wars taking place. He does two things after that. So he goes to a planet called Moloch, which is quite a big deal.
Have we been there?
Moloch?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
This is a new planet.
Okay.
So, well, it's funny you say that, actually, because no one can really remember what happened to Moloch the first time they went there either. So he remembers going to Moloch with the Emperor, and the Emperor disappearing into this magical gate, which went to the Parallax Balrog universe, into the warp.
Yeah.
And then he came back out again. One thing about the Chaos Gods is that one of the best ways to imagine them is think of them as sentient, but they are destructive because that's what they are. But they can make you very powerful.
Okay.
And when they give you powers, obviously, it's the Faustian bargain of, you literally give up your flesh and your soul to them. You become their plaything.
Okay.
Now, Horus doesn't want to do that, but what Horus does do is he goes into the warp through the gate at Moloch, gets some of their abilities and their powers and their gifts, and comes back out again more powerful. And there's another attempt to assassinate him at that point then.
Okay.
Yeah. So by this point, we're about 3.5 years into the conflict as well. So this has been going on for a while, because, it's across space. It's a really big, it's huge, it's galactic.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And what happens after that? He gets the powers at Moloch, and now he's preparing to make his way to Earth. But he's not the only one who's making his way to Earth. So at the same time, you got other Primarchs. So Sanguinus of the Blood Angels Legion has teamed up with Guilliman, if you remember him, survived the attack on Calth. And a new player we've not mentioned a lot, a guy called Lionel Johnson of the Dark Angels Legion.
Lionel Johnson.
Yeah, I know. Well, they call him the Lion a lot. They call him the Lion.
No, his name's Lionel.
Yeah.
You can't just treat me like BS. I've got a cool nickname, yeah, but your name's still Lionel.
Lionel, of like all the... and his legion, called the Dark Angels. And they're quite cool. They team up with those three, and they make their way back to Earth, and they're fighting demons and monsters the whole way there. And they're traitor brothers at this point too. Then they get to planet Earth. But not all of them. Sanguinus and his Blood Angels get to planet Earth.
Yep.
Guilliman splits off to start rallying people. And Lionel goes off, and he goes to the planets of the home planet of Mortarion, the home planet of Fulgrim, and all the other planets that the traitor legions came from. Starts blowing them up.
Okay.
So then there's the last legion, called the White Scars. The ones you know. Yeah, under Jagati.
The ones that could have been unicorns.
But are not. The White Scars are under Jagati Khan, as he's called, or Jagate Khan, or the Warhawk. They have made their way to Earth as well. So you got the three legions on Earth. You got the Imperial Fists under Rogel Dawn, the Blood Angels under Sanguinus, and the White Scars under Jagati Khan, defending Earth now, and everyone else is still spread out.
Okay.
And then Horus arrives with all those other legions. So here, and then the Siege of Terra starts, and it's a big battle that takes place across the entire solar system.
What, from like the Kuiper Belt in?
Literally, yes.
That's long.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And that's how big it is. But first, there is one more attack.
But wait, wouldn't like... What if planets were in the way?
They blow up two of Pluto's moons. Uranus's moons, sorry.
Why?
Because they got space stations on them, and space stations need to go pop.
Oh, poor Uranus.
Anyway, but that's not quite what's happened. So just prior to this, Leman Russ, remember him? The Space Wolf guy. He launched a final attack on Horus himself. And he gets there, and he's got this thing called the Wolf Spear, and it's an amazing weapon. It's like gold and it's beautiful. And he gets there and he's fighting Horus, and he wounds Horus. He pierces his side with his spear, wounding Horus, and then Horus just swipes him across the room. And Horus...
What, does he die?
What, Leman Russ?
Yeah.
No, he lives.
Okay.
Just though. He's in a coma for a little bit.
Eee.
But yeah. And you've got to remember, 12-foot tall, superpowered demigod. Takes quite a lot to kill them. Literally, only one of them's died at this point, and all of them have been battered around like crazy throughout these books. Like, their injury lists are insane. Anyway, but then, so, Horus is wounded by this, and there's another battle called Beta Garman. He collapses from the wound, he's really badly hurt, and there's only one way he can survive, and that's if he's taken the gifts from the powers of chaos so far, he's taken them and he's using them, but he hasn't submitted himself, he's not given them his soul.
Oh, he's gonna give his soul. Oh,
if he wants to heal from this latest round of wounding, it was one thing in Davin, it's another thing now, it's the only way he's gonna come back. So he gives his soul to the Chaos Gods.
No.
Yeah.
Nah, man. So does that mean he's like now a soulless husk, or does it mean that like the Balrog Parallax dudes can like control him? Like, what does it mean?
They basically have a direct link to his mind now, and they're speaking to him and they're whispering to him, and his body's changing subtly in different ways. There's like a red glowing light coming from his helmet. It's mad.
He's gonna be erased from history. He's too far gone.
He is too far gone now. And then this is where we're getting closer and closer to the final fight. So they're in the solar system now. They're fighting and warring their way across.
Blowing up the moons of Uranus.
Blowing up the moons of Uranus, indeed. Fighting their way to free Mars, because Mars declared for Horus early on, and they want to get that back on side. And it's just not going well for the defenders. They're getting pushed back and back and back and back.
Are these the Emperor picked?
And then Guilliman arrives with the Dark Angels, and the Space Wolves are back in the fight, and they've got this colossal army all with them now, coming after Horus. So we're back to it, massive colossal force. Horus is there. This is going to be a nightmare to edit. Oh, and Horus sees it's coming, and he lowers the shields around his, like the energy shield around his ship. He lowers it so the Emperor can teleport onto his ship for a final confrontation.
Why would he have a final confrontation where he can just get all of his legions to, like, end him? Why does he do that? If reinforcements are coming, why isn't he just like, yeah, we're gonna sit tight, eat some Doritos, watch a film, and then when our backup comes, we'll be like, bitch, bring it. Because you're in a pincer movement and you gon' die. Why would you go? Why? That's just stupid tactics. He deserves to die.
For the Emperor?
Yeah.
Well, do you know why he goes?
Why?
Because Horus is his son.
Oh, shut up. No one gives a shit. Are you believing this? Are you? Am I the crazy one here?
The Emperor goes with Rogel Dawn and Sanguinus and possibly the Khan. We don't know. They all teleport onto Horus's ship, the Vengeful Spirit, as it's called, for a final confrontation. But they all get spread out and spread around throughout the ship, so they're...
See, this is why you don't do that bullshit.
Yeah, you're right. This is why you don't do it. But they did it. They did it. Do you know why they did it?
Because he's an idiot.
So the story could happen.
Well, okay then. That's literally it, isn't it? That's literally it, yeah.
Yeah. So that happens and everyone's like, oh man. So Sanguinus, the angelic Primarch who literally has angel wings, he gets to Horus first. Horus tries to turn him to his side, but Sanguinus says, no! Emperor forever! And they fight. Sanguinus wounds Horus, but Horus kills Sanguinus.
No.
So he kills one of his brothers.
Oh no!
Yeah. Then the Emperor turns up, sees Sanguinus is dead, and he rushes in, and he starts fighting Horus, but he's holding back. And Horus is able to wound him a few times, and he's beating the Emperor up good and bad. And then eventually the Emperor is like on his last legs, and Horus is standing over him going, ha ha ha, I have you now, father. But the Emperor's still like, no, he's my son, I can't kill him.
Nah, bullshit.
And then one of his guards come in, one of the Emperor's guards, the Custodes, comes in, starts shooting him, Horus with his gun. And Horus is like, that's cute. With his new special powers, he basically turns the guy inside out.
Ah!
Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy.
How? I don't want to know.
Magic, space powers. So, and that, weirdly, not the death of two of his sons so far, or the turning of the others.
It was the death of the innocent bodyguard.
Yeah.
That he was like, you know what, my son is too far gone.
Now
One of the other innocent people, let bygones be bygones, but now it's like, oh, bitch, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Basically.
Wow.
That's the law now in 2020.
Oh, is this like the end of the book series we've got to?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
So that's when the Emperor summons up all of his powers and might, and he basically shoots a beam at Horus of something, or he does something to Horus, and Horus dies. So, Horus is dead, his legion collapses, and they piss off out of Dodge nice and quickly. Guilliman's there with his massive army with the other legions, laying waste to all of them whilst they're retreating and they're fleeing. And in the aftermath, three Primarchs now at least have died. The Imperium of Man has been laid to waste. Guilliman has kind of stepped in to take over the reins of things because there's literally no one else left who can really govern at that level.
So wait, so the Primarchs who were on Horus's side, they don't go, you know what, let's let bygones be bygones, they just run away.
They run away.
Even their legions?
The legions, everyone. They all pack up and leave. Because otherwise they're going to get killed. Because Horus is dead. Yeah. Horus was the thing holding the whole thing together.
Right.
And when he dies, there's no leadership left.
What? So there's no kind of like, we surrender?
Some of them might have surrendered, but it's unlikely they would have survived because of the scale of the treachery.
Oh, okay, I see. Right.
So yeah, and that is the Horus Heresy.
Yeah.
In full.
Uh-huh.
Including the bits after the books.
Oh.
So what do you think?
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of it's way more it was way more complicated than I thought it would be. I didn't realise there'd be so many characters because I didn't realise it was so many books. I thought you were going to explain a single book to me or something.
No. And to those of you watching, I know I missed out a lot of stuff that happens in the Heresy, but I also didn't miss much.
This is a lot. There's a lot to digest. I don't like Horus. Horus seems like a bit of an idiot.
Yeah.
Like,
you're not the first person to say that.
I think the Sanguinus guy ending up sacrificing himself, he seemed like he would probably be cool. I'd like to know more about him. The Emperor is also a bit of an idiot. Just fold your son. Why are you walking up there and like not realising that he's a bad dude? The worship guy.
Lorgar.
Yeah, he needed to calm down. But I also think the Emperor was taking it too much to heart. Like, I don't get why the Emperor was so mad about that. Like, you know, to the point where he's being a bit mean about it. But that's just me. Yeah, there's lots of bits that you said where I feel like if I knew the lore, I wouldn't have to ask questions about it. I'm curious. So these books are like the backstory prequel lore to the game.
Well, the universe the game is set in.
Yeah. So I'm assuming the game came first.
Yes.
So like as the game was developing, also ideas about the lore were developing and then being written into the books, and then so they kind of ended up feeding into each other.
That was the Drunken Explain of the Horus Heresy with myself, JJ, and Michaela.
Hi.
Yeah. So thank you all very much for watching. If you watched to the end, you're an absolute legend.
I'm sorry if I offended anyone with my strong opinions. Horus is a dick. He's an idiot.
Yes, he is.
I'm sorry.
But you're going to get some people going, "Oh, Michaela, I think you'll find that Horus is the greatest character in the whole of the Warhammer universe." Anyway.
He tripped out on shrooms and then decided to kill a bunch of people. He's an idiot.
Thank you very much for joining us on this Let's Drunkenly Explain the Horus Heresy. As I said, I'm JJ. This is Michaela. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, press the bell button, tell your friends to do the same, and I will see you on the next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
And have a lovely day.
Yeah, but do these guys have families?
Nope. They're literally
There aren't any lady space marines at home
There aren't.
with baby space marines wondering where daddy is?